Hi guys, Casper MMA here, and today we are back with another Octagon predictions video on the channel. Today I'm giving my predictions for Octagon 71, Poppeck versus Langer. The last Octagon card we did was Octagon 70. It didn't go too bad for us. I think overall we had more wins than we did losses on the picks. I did quite well. I got a few underdog picks in there as well, but I didn't get the main event right and a couple others on the main card. So it was a 50-50 card. We didn't do too bad, didn't do too well either. But I'm looking to bounce back this week. It looks an exciting card, so I'm looking forward to giving my predictions. But before I do that, make sure if you guys are new around here and you're enjoying this content, you're going to below and hit that subscribe button. It's free and it's really appreciated. So I think there is 12 fights on this card. I'm not too sure. I think Topallaj got it wrong. But we've kicked things off with the first fight of Gökhan Aksu versus Ognian Dimić. Now, I'm going to butcher all these names on the card. Just be prepared for it. So, Dimić, not sure how you say that, Serbian man. He's 8-3. Not too bad of a record. Is coming off a loss in his first fight in Octagon. He lost to Sardari by rear naked choke. But before that, he's had a mixed bag of results, really. Had one draw in there, had a win before his last loss. He had a draw, a no contest, and a win. So, interesting thing of results. Lost a couple of times. He's been KO'd before, but he's got quite a few KOs himself. He looks a decent fighter. On the other hand, Gökhan Aksu, the Austrian man, is 12-6 record. So he's 33 years of age as well. He's on a pretty decent winning streak at the minute. He's got 4 fights in a row. His last 3, well, no, all 4 of his last fights have been finishes. To be fair, one in Octagon against Malach. He won by rear naked choke in round number 1. So he looks pretty decent. His most recent loss was to Bogdan Grad by KO, but I mean, he's in the UFC and is pretty good. So I think that Aksu looks a pretty decent fighter. He does have more losses than his opponent, but I do think he's the better fighter overall. He's on a good win streak as well coming to this, so I reckon Aksu gets the submission. Now we move the card to Tamerlan Dulatov versus Emmanuel Binyet. Now, Dulatov is a 2-0 German man, undefeated, 24 years of age, so quite young as well. Won his first 2 fights, both by round 1 finish, one by guillotine, one by KO. So he looks pretty decent. I can't really say much from both of those fights. I mean, both of his opponents were 0-0 as well, to be fair, so not like beating that great opponents. But his opponent, the Swiss man, Binyet, 6-5, 39 years of age, so he's getting old. He's getting on a bit. Did lose his last fight this year to decision. But he's basically, his last couple of fights have been like win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. So, yeah, I don't think he's the greatest fighter in the world. So, even though, what's his name, Dulatov hasn't really proved himself against the best of opponents, I do think he's going to win this fight. I mean, he's the up-and-coming prospect, undefeated, pretty easy pick here. I'm going to go for Dulatov, and I think he gets the submission. Now we move up the card again to Peter Gabal versus Elias Jakobi. Now, Peter Gabal, 6-3, Czech Republic man, or Czechia man, I don't know how you say it nowadays, 26 years of age as well, is on a 2-fight winning streak at the minute. 1 win by KO, 1 win by decision in Octagon. Did lose to Nafuka in his last loss, but around that he's had quite a few wins, to be fair. A few losses back in like 2021, but he's not been too bad recently. He looks pretty decent, a few finishes in there as well. His opponent, on the other hand, Elias Jakobi, is a 4-0 German man. Looks pretty decent, to be fair. I mean, undefeated. Won all his fights by KO, I mean, or doctor's stoppage. I mean, he's at literally 3 round 2 finishes and 1 round 1 finish. So he looks pretty decent, and I'm going to have to back him, you know. I mean, I do think Gabal is decent, to be fair. Not on a bad run at the minute, but I've got to back the undefeated guy. He looks pretty decent, 4 KOs as well. So I'm reckon Jakobi is going to get the KO. Now, moving up the card to Jan Malach versus Endrit Brajshori. Now, Brajshori, I don't know how you say that, but he is from Kosovo, this man. 4-2 record. Not too bad. Did lose his last fight to Marek Bartel by a round 1 submission, but before that, he's had decent wins, to be fair. Got a guillotine choke in one of his fights. Lost a split decision. No, won a split decision even before his last loss. So he's only had 2 losses as well, both coming by submission. So he's not very good at defending them. On the other hand, Jan Malach, 18-15. So a lot of experience on this man. I mean, he's had a lot of fights. Currently 3-6 in the Octagon. But recently, he's only lost once in his last 4 fights. I mean, he's been out of the octagon for a couple of years now. I mean, his last loss in the octagon was to Shamrock, who's actually fighting on this card as well. So he's not too bad of an opponent recently. I mean, he's had a few finishes, round 1 finish in his last fight. So I can easily see this going either way. Both of these guys, probably similar levels of skill, to be honest. But I'll probably go back Malach to get this job done. And I reckon he gets the decision. Now we move up the card to Jakub Dohnal versus Wanderley Junior. Now, Jakub Dohnal, 13-5, Czech man, is 33 years of age. Is coming off a win in his last fight in last year in December. Beat Dagashek by rear naked choke. So decent performance there. But he did lose twice in a row to KO. Before that, he's won a few decisions and stuff. I mean, he's won like most of his fights by decision, to be fair, apart from his last one. But yeah, he's got quite a few losses in there as well, but there's some good opponents like Buchinger and George Hardwick and stuff when he's in Cage Warriors. So not the easiest run of fights. He's 9-4 in Octagon. Wanderley Junior, on the other hand, the Brazilian man, 17-10, 30 years old. So there's quite a few fights, to be fair. He lost his first fight in Octagon to Eskiev, or whatever his name was, Eskiju or something. I remember doing a prediction video of him once. Lost by round 2, ground and pound there. So, but I mean, he's a decent opponent, to be fair. Before that, he's on a 3-fight losing streak, to be fair, so he's not doing too well recently. Has won the belt in different promotions, like, I don't know what these are, to be honest. But yeah, he looks decent, but not in the great run recently. So I'm going to back the Czech man in Dohnal to get this job done. I mean, I feel like he's coming off a win here. The other guy is coming off 3 losses. So I'm going to back Dohnal to get the decision. Now, moving at the card again to Tomas Mudroch versus Ozan Aslaner. Now, Mudroch is 6-1 Czech man, 26 years of age. Got a decent record, to be fair. His only loss coming to Cecil by decision back in 2023. Since then, he's looked pretty decent. I mean, he's had pretty much all finishes since his loss. I mean, literally, he's never... Well, he's only had one fight go to decision, and that was the one he lost. He basically finishes everyone else in round 1, pretty much. So, he's a pretty dangerous guy. I mean, some of these finishes, like 19 seconds and stuff like that. So, he's definitely a dangerous man early on in the fights. His opponent, Aslaner, is a German man, 9-5-1, 27 years of age. So, both similar in age there. He's coming off a split decision win in his last fight. Had a knee injury before that in the Octagon. So, he's 1-1. In Octagon. Not too much to say there. I mean, he split decision in his last fight. He lost before that as well to decision. He's kind of not the greatest record, to be fair. Never really gets a winning streak going. Had a few wins here, a few losses there. So I reckon I'm going to back the 6-1 man in Mudroch to get this done. I mean, he's had many finishes. He's probably going to get another finish in this fight, and I reckon Mudroch gets the KO. Now, moving at the card to Afeni Nafuka versus George Staines. Now, I put this name into Nafuka's name into Google Translate to see if it would help me with the pronunciation, and because I'm trying to like get these names right because I get them so wrong often. And apparently it translates to English to he doesn't smoke. So I mean, I don't know if he does smoke. Maybe that's correct, but I just thought that was really funny, so I thought I'd share it with you guys. But this fight looks exciting. I want to watch this fight. It looks good. Afeni Nafuka is 10-2. I mean, he's a pretty decent fighter. Hasn't lost his last fight by KO to Buchinger. I didn't think that would happen. I predicted him to win, and I was wrong. But he has some good wins before that, like Topallaj, he won by decision, took his O. Lost to Bogdanovic, to be fair, that was his first loss. But before that, he was like 7-0. Really good fighter, lots of wins by submission, and a couple by KO in there as well. On the other hand, George Staines, 5-0 Englishman. He looks pretty decent as well, only 24 years of age. He's undefeated. I mean, what can you say? I mean, a couple of his wins coming by submission, few by decision as well. I mean, I think he looks a decent fighter. Beat Dennis Frimpong as well at one point. I don't know what belt that was for. It was for some like challenge championship or something. I don't really know. But Dennis Frimpong is a decent fighter. So I feel like this should be a fun fight. I'm looking forward to it. But I do think that George Staines wins, and I reckon he gets a submission. Now we move up the card to Patrick Vespaziani versus Jovan Zeljkovic. Now, Vespaziani, an incredible name. I don't know. I was wondering how the hell you pronounce that, but it doesn't seem too bad. Vespaziani, 4-2 German man, 33 years of age. Is coming off a win by KO in his last fight. Lost by KO beforehand. I mean, What am I even saying? All of his fights have gone to KO. 4 wins by KO, 2 losses by KO. So this guy loves a finish. I can tell you this fight will probably end in finish if I had to bet. But his opponent, Zeljkovic, I think it was. He's a Serbian man, 5-1, pretty decent. 29 years of age. This guy also loves the finish. I mean, he's won his last 5 fights in a row. 2 of his last fights have ended in round 1 ground and pound. He hasn't really fought the best of opponents. I mean, literally none. Out of his last 5 opponents, they've had a combined win of 1. So take of that what you will. I mean, he obviously is pretty good to be finishing on these guys, but I mean, there's only 1 win in the whole their careers. So that is interesting. So I think I'm going to take that into consideration, and I think I will be going with Vespaziani to get this job done. I mean, he looks decent. He's got some decent wins, and yeah, I reckon he's going to get a KO. Now, next up on the card, we have Shamrock versus Attila Korkmaz. Now, Shamrock, 11-1-1 record. British man. I don't actually know if he's English or Irish. It says he fights out of Dublin, but he's born in Liverpool, so no idea. Definitely know he's British. He's a very decent fighter as well. I mean, he has 1 draw to Arthur Lima by majority decision in Octagon, and 1 round 1 KO to Nathan Kelly. But apart from that, he looks pretty decent fighter. You know, I mean, he's got a lot of finishes on his record, all finishes. To be fair to him, 9 wins by submission, 2 wins by KO as well. So definitely a dangerous man. I mean, literally all of his last 3 fights have been ended in round number 1 by rear naked choke. So he's definitely won for the submissions. His opponent, Korkmaz, is 15-9, German man, 33 years of age. Has coming off a loss in his last fight by unanimous decision. Won his fight before that, lost a split decision to Paradisa. So he's not the worst record, but he's 1-2 at the minute. I feel like this is probably a layup for Shamrock. Let's be real. I mean, I'm not going to pick against him. I think Rock is going to blitz through him and get the submission. Now we move up the card to Zdenek Polivka versus Harun Uzun. Now, Polivka is 9-7, Czech man, 27 years of age. Hasn't had a fight since 2023. I mean, he's had quite a few cancelled bouts, but he won that fight back in 2023 by decision. Did lose twice in a row beforehand, but had a win then a loss, then a couple wins, then a loss. So he never really gets many winning streaks going. But in Octagon, he is 6-4, so he's not too bad of a record, to be fair. Still more wins than losses. His opponent, Uzun, is a 5-1 German man. Does a pretty decent record, 32 years of age, so he's the older man. His only loss coming in his last fight to Tony Van Dyke by a round 1 injury. But before that, he was pretty good. 5 wins in a row. Again, as the other guy I was talking about, he's out of all 5 opponents, only 1 of them has a win on their record. So another of takers that what you will. I mean, got quite a few submission wins, 1 win by KO as well. So he's definitely a dangerous opponent to Polivka. But I can definitely see he's going either way. I mean, Polivka is the younger guy. He has looked decent in some of his fights, got a few decision wins and stuff like that. So I reckon that Polivka is going to get this job done here. I mean, I feel like he's just had more Octagon experience, higher level experience. So I reckon Polivka is going to get the job done by decision. Now we move up the card to Ariane Topallaj versus Denis Frimpong. Now, this looks an exciting fight. Another one. Definitely looking forward to this one. Topallaj is 7-1-1. I obviously talked about him earlier when we talked about Nafuka. That was his last loss. Before that, he was pretty much undefeated apart from his 1 draw. That had been his 2nd ever MMA fight. But since then, all finishes on his record. I mean, this guy's dangerous. Quite a few KOs in there. He's had 5 wins by KO in his career, 2 wins by submission. Then he obviously lost a decision to Nafuka. But it's not the worst loss to have in the world, because Nafuka is a decent opponent. On the other hand, we have Frimpong, who's also a pretty good fighter out of Ghana. 5-2 on his record. Slightly older man of 30 years of age. Did lose. No, he's won his last 4 fights in a row. Because his last loss was George Staines, who I picked to win in a different fight. But he has looked decent. 3 wins by decision in Octagon, 1 win by KO in a random month promotion. So he definitely looks like a decent opponent. But I don't think he's going to be good enough for Topallaj. I feel like Topallaj is going to bounce back with a win after his last loss. I feel like he's just too dangerous other guy, and I feel like Topallaj gets the KO. And now moving up to the main event, Alexander Poppeck versus Pavol Langer. Now, obviously this is a rematch from back, when was the last fight? 2023, where Langer won a split decision. But since then, Poppeck has won one fight by KO, then had a no contest in his last fight back in 2024. So he's come back, won one, and then had a no contest. Well, on the other hand, Pavol Langer, since that fight, his record's 13-11, and since that fight, he lost the belt by round 1 KO to Vermola. I don't think he lost. It was the. I don't think it was the belt. I don't know. Can't remember if it's the interim belt or whatever. But yeah, he lost that by round 1 KO in 7 seconds or something stupid like that. Then did get a win, bounced back a win, but then he lost his last fight last year to Will Fleury by round 1 KO. So he's been KO'd a few times since his last fight of Poppeck. Poppeck has won one, and then obviously legal knee in the other fight. So I'm going to back Poppeck to come back and win this one. I feel like he's bounced back better in his last couple of fights, and I reckon Poppeck is going to get the KO this time. So there are my predictions for Octagon 71. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with me. And that's all for today's video. If you guys enjoyed me, leave a like, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.